Hey, it's May, and welcome to another bookish video. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a book haul. Recently, within the last month or so, I've acquired multiple new books, and I wanted to share them with you guys. So, grab your cozy cup of coffee and let's chat about books. So, many of these books have actually been on my TBR for a very long time, but I just haven't gotten my hands on them. Some of them are books I had never heard of and just decided to pick up, while others have been picked up because it's an author that I've grown to love. Okay, I'm going to start with this random book I picked up. This one has been just popular all over TikTok and Instagram. I've heard a lot about it, but I didn't really have an interest in it until one day I was looking up books that just kind of give you the Dracula love tale vibes, like a gothic fantasy romance. And The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillick was the first thing that popped up. From what I've read about this book, it's actually a low spice book, which is perfect. I prefer low spice to no spice for most of my books. But this is about a girl who basically has visions, I think. People like come to her from all over to like hear her visions, and then some random knight just shows up. I guess honestly, I really don't know much about what this book is about. I just picked it up because of the vibes for a gothic romantasy. So we'll see if I like this. This next book is also a fantasy book that has been super popular all over TikTok and Instagram, and it is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Basically, it's about a girl who tries to write her brother like some letters during a war, and during said war, the letter gets in the hands of an enemy, and it is an enemy to lovers fantasy. I'm very interested in it. I was looking up like books that are kind of like a World War II romance because I really love that type of vibe. And this popped up. What this book is all about. It's about a girl who's 18 years old, Iris Winnow. Um, Her mother is suffering an addiction and her brother is missing from the front lines. So she tries to write him, and essentially the letter gets in the hands of Roman Kit, I guess is his name. And he begins to like anonymously write back, and they form a connection. But because they're enemies, there's gonna be like a dun 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 part of this. So I'm really excited about this book. Next, we have this book. This was not something I bought. This was actually given to me by my sister a while ago, but I just decided to include it. This is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. Honestly, when I first saw this book, I was very intimidated because it's a thick book. And I was originally told it was not a romance, and I was like, ooh, that's a lot of book for no romance. But from my understanding of this book, it is about a girl who is a single mom, and basically she has to kind of like prove herself in the workforce in the 1960s, is it? Yes. Um, and she basically has to like change the status quo of where she works and kind of makes it a little bit more like feministy from my understanding of the book. I don't know. I don't know. It starts off from like the summary that there might have been a romance, but I don't think that that's going to be like the main plot of this book. So I'm really interested to see what it's going to be about. Um Apparently it is really funny. It's comedic, which I love. This was not something that was on my TBR. It was just gifted to me, so I'm very interested to see what it'll be about. This next one was a shock to me. I was looking and I was like, you know what? Let's just pick a book we've heard nothing about, we're not searching for. Like, let's just let the cover speak to us. This is a YA fantasy. It is The Last Tiger. Basically, it is loosely based off of a true story, but it is about the Japanese occupation in Korea. And guys, I literally just picked this because of the cover, because look look at that cover. It is beautiful. That's the privilege the powerful have, to live life on their terms. Seong was right. We were trapped. I couldn't escape my engagement. I was powerless to say no to my parents. Neither could he escape the forces that condemned him to the gold mines and a life of poverty. We couldn't be together, not as we were then. So basically, there is a romance in it, and it's about two people who one of the one person comes from a life of wealth, and another person comes from a life of poverty, and they're basically trying to fight against the odds to be together. So it's kind of like a forbidden romance, but there's like deeper things about like government. So I'm very interested. I was very much drawn to this book because of how gorgeous it is, and there's like sprayed edges too, like beautiful.
Spectacular. Give me 14 of them right now.
Need to take a quick little coffee break. I got this cute little mug from Amazon. I love it. This next book is really sad. I have seen the movie, but I have not actually read this book before. And it is Me Before You. I fell in love with this movie as a teenager, and I had no idea it was a book until many years later. And I saw it in the store, but I wanted to reread this, or not reread it, but read it for the first time with just new eyes. But it's not your typical romance. It's not your typical romance. There's not a happy ending. And that is what that is one of the reasons why I feel drawn to this book, is because, you know, typical romances, there is a happy ending. There is a conclusion. There's something that makes you feel resolved as a person. But I love a romance where you're not resolved. You're asking questions. You're like, why did this person make this decision? Another reason why I love the movie La La Land. Like, you would think everything's going so well for these two characters. They were so good together, but they didn't end up together. Their timelines went in different directions. And as a watcher slash reader, you feel unresolved about it, and you're asking questions and wondering what the future could have been like. And I love that as a reader and as a film watcher. Okay, this is an author I have fallen in love with. She's very popular for many reasons. Her books tend to be low to no spice whatsoever, and they're just so good. They're just simple, standalone, magical realism romance, and I love it. This is Ashley Poston, and I had one of her books on my TBR last fall, which is The Dead Romantic Society. And I wasn't able to find it at the time, and I don't think our library had it even. I don't know. Um, and I'd been looking for this, and I found it at Half Price Books when I went a few weeks ago, and I'm really excited. So basically, it is about a ghostwriter, and her family owns a funeral parlor, and she goes home to her family. I forget why she goes home. Oh yeah, her father dies. Anyways, her father dies, and so she goes home, but when she goes to the funeral parlor, there's a ghost standing at the front door. It is none other than her new editor. So this is definitely going to be an interesting book. There's a romance in it. I don't know how I feel about a ghost romance. I don't know yet. I used to love the movie Casper, and like that technically is like a ghost romance story, I guess. Can I keep you? I don't know. And I was like, why not just pick up the other book that I see, which was Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. Basically, this is about a girl named Joni, and she has a secret. She is a really popular songwriter in Los Angeles. Basically, she falls in love with an arrogant and guarded man, and they are kind of like in charge of like writing a story together, or write not a story, writing a song together, and I guess they're like trying not to fall in love with each other or something like that. That's what this book is giving me, is like, hey, we're working together, but we can't fall in love with each other because it'll be bad for us or something like that. But apparently their music draws them together. So I'm interested to see that one. I read Ashley Poston's The 7 Year Slip and fell in love with that book. That's like my probably my top 10 favorite books. Um I just thought it was so sweet. It was so good. I was literally like crying at the end of the book because I was like, this is immaculate. So we have Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. The last two books. These are by the same author, Stephanie Garber. Can you guess what books I have in my hand? Yes, you are correct. I have Once Upon a Broken Heart and Caraval. Now, I only have the first book in the series because I didn't want to buy the whole series and then not like the book and just own it, I guess. So I only picked up the first of each one. Carvel was recommended to me by my sister. Basically, it's about a girl who has to survive like a trial or a game. Um, but it's like she falls in love with, I honestly like couldn't tell you. Let me just read it. Scarlet Dragna has never left the tiny island where she and her sister Tella live with their powerful and cruel father. Now Scarlet's father has arranged a marriage for her, and Scarlet thinks her dreams of seeing Caraval, the faraway once-a-year performance where the audience participates in the show, are over. But this year, Scarlet's long dream of invitation finally arrives. Sounds very good. It honestly gives me a little bit like spooky vibes, a little bit. I don't know. My sister says I will like it, and I trust her because she was the one who got me to read ACOTAR, which got me into reading. So, again, Caraval, and I think there's two other books in this series. And then we have Once Upon a Broken Heart. I think I was on TikTok and it was like, if you like fairy tales or whatever, like retelling fairy tales, then you'll like this. So, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. The first book is about Evangeline Fox has always believed in true love and happy endings until she learns that the love of her life will marry another. Dun, dun, dun. Desperate to stop the wedding, Evangeline strikes a deal with the charismatic, immortal Prince of Hearts. I'm very interested. Ooh. I believe Once Upon a Broken Heart and Caraval are also both YA fantasy. Because when I was looking at them in store, they were in the YA section. Um, so yeah, but I'm so excited to now have these books on my shelf. I can't wait to read them. I'm currently in the process. I'll probably be done with the books by this point, but I'm currently reading the first book in the, what is it called, Immortal Instruments series. So I'm reading City of Bones, and then I'm also reading The Things We Leave Unfinished. Actually, that's audiobook, not reading, but an audiobook. I'm doing that one, and so good. I'm like 70% of the way through, and I'm loving that one so much. So I'm excited to give you guys kind of like a monthly wrap up of like my ratings of books and what I read that month. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.